Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Summer Days here with another video. Today we're going to be making Italian peach cookies, or as I call them, the Peaches of Immortality. I'm calling them this because Wukong Black Myth recently just came out, and it's a game based off of Sun Wukong. And if you know anything about Sun Wukong, one of the ways he gained immortality was to eat the peaches of immortality when he was supposed to be guarding them. So yeah, let's make these cookies. We're going to start off by zesting our lemon, and you're going to mix that in with half a cup or like 1 stick of softened butter, as well as half a cup of powdered sugar. You're going to mix that together really well until it's nice and combined and very fluffy, and then we're going to add in 1 egg. And in case you couldn't tell, I've been trying to learn how to crack an egg with one hand, but I'm not very good at it. I always end up dropping the shell in there. It doesn't matter though. You're gonna mix it back up again, and I use this hand mixer, but you don't have to. You can whip it yourself with your hand if your hands are strong, mine are not. Then we're gonna start adding our dry ingredients. You're gonna start by adding 1 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You're gonna add some vanilla extract. I usually just eyeball it, it doesn't really matter. And then 3 tablespoons of sour cream. I use mascarpone because I didn't have sour cream and it still worked fine. Yeah, and then you're just gonna mix that all together before slowly adding in 1 2/3 of a cup of flour. You're gonna mix that together really well, and it's gonna make this really soft, almost kind of melty dough. So when you're done mixing everything, you have to put it in your fridge for 2 hours. But during that time, it'll give us the opportunity to make the rest of the things that we're gonna need for the cookie. So yeah, anyways, after the 2 hours are done, you're gonna bring out the cookie dough, and you can see it's still soft even though it was in the fridge for 2 hours. But you're gonna spread it out on your pan. I ended up making, I think, like 16 or 17 cookies, and you're just gonna roll it up together and then make sure the top is rounded, and then put it in your oven at 350 for like 10 to 12 to 13 minutes. Just check. Once the bottom is that color, you got to bring it out, and you need to be very careful because they're very fragile. And then once we're done with that, we're gonna start scooping out the center because that's where our filling is gonna go. I tried 3 different methods and they all kind of sucked, so my only advice is to wait until it's a little warm and a little cold, and then scoop out as best as you can. As you can see, I tried a knife, I tried a measuring cup, frontwards and backwards, and just be gentle because it'll crack if you look at it wrong. Next, we're gonna use peach jam. If you're like me, you don't have peach jam in your house, you can just use some frozen peaches, add some sugar, cook it in a pot, and mash it up, and there's your peach jam. If you're smart, you can just buy peach jam from the store. And now we're gonna make the actual filling, which is the peach jam. You're gonna add whatever nuts you have, whether it's walnuts or almonds or macadamia nuts, and blend it together until you get this kind of chunky mixture, and then you're gonna stuff it into a piping bag because we're going to stuff our cookies with it. The third thing that we're gonna make is the glaze. It says, the recipe I'm using says you should use like peach alcohol. I had peach schnapps, thankfully, so I did that, and then I added the food coloring, both red and yellow, but I think you can get away with orange and yellow, and my recommendation is to use a non-oil based food coloring, if that makes sense. Like, this one is for oily food, so because mine was a little grainy. And then we're gonna assemble our cookies. Basically, you take your cookie, remember the holes we had in there, you're gonna stuff it with the nut filling and then gently push it together. As you can see, I was really hard and it cracked right then and there. But again, you're gonna stuff the one side, you're gonna stuff both sides really. If you only do one side, it's not gonna close all, so you gotta do both, and don't throw your cookie to the ground like I did. Be gentle and close it, and once it's like secure, you could probably like hang it from the cookie. And then after that, we're gonna start dipping to make it look like peaches. The way color theory works is you always go from light to dark, so you're gonna start with the yellow, then go to the red, and then go back to the yellow, and then roll it in some sugar, and it's gonna give you that kind of peachy apricot-y blend. So yeah, again, start from the yellow, then go to the red, then go back to the yellow, and then roll it in some sugar. And you want to not put it in there for too long or be too hard on it because it'll fall apart, but don't put it in there for too long, otherwise it's gonna get really soggy. And then if you are afraid that your cookies are gonna fall apart, you can do the paintbrush method, where basically you start with the yellow, you take your little paintbrush and you paint one side of it yellow, and then you're gonna switch over and then do the red side and just blend it in there. And this way you can kind of control the ombre / gradient to be what you want. But again, be very gentle, because if you're not, the cookie will fall apart. If you look at this cookie wrong, it'll just have a mental breakdown like me. But yeah, just make your little ombre, make it look as much as a peach as you can, and I think I did a really good job. And then you can sprinkle it with some sugar. I regret doing this because I think the better way to do it is to what was I gonna say, is to roll it in the sugar. And then here's what it looks like at the end. If you split it apart, it looks like it has a little peach core, and these are so cute, and I'm so glad I made them because they really like peaches. However, the taste is like mediocre. It's a good cookie, but is it an amazing cookie? No. And is it a lot of work? Yes. But anything for Sun Wukong, the #1 crash out in historical fantasy. Alrighty, bye guys, and follow me.